WebZii414 back at you guys with another video, another tutorial video actually. This is gonna be tutorial on flicks, kind of 101 on flicks. I have a lot of my friends who ask me all the time, you know, how I do my flicks, and they are puzzled by the way I'm able to get, you know, a lot of power behind my flicks and stuff like that. So I kind of want to make this video to kind of explain, because I see a lot of the same mistakes in people, and I really want to kind of address those, and hopefully I can help you guys figure out what your problem is. There's going to be no editing in this entire video, because if I do mess up a flick, I would like you guys to see me mess it up, and maybe it's the same mistake you're having, and I can try to help you guys fix it. So anyways, if you watched my last tutorial video, the 5 tips that can help you, you know, improve your rank, if you guys watched that, well, you will obviously know that I told you guys that practice your flicks, you know, dribbling the ball here, get on your car, and then flick, right? Which, you know, basic flick. Alright, well, I kind of want to go a little bit more into depth with it. Just for those people who can do this probably, can do this flick probably almost every single time, but struggle when the ball is moving or on the sides, yada yada yada. So the first problem and issue that I notice in a lot of people who try to flick, they try to flick before the ball is settled on their car. And what I mean by that is, okay, when I'm driving here, you can see the ball settled on my car, it's not bouncing, so I would have been able to do a pretty decent flick. Depending on where it is on your car is how fast you want to flick. Normally, if you have the ball settled on your car but it's on the top, like in the front of your car, you want to flick fast, or that'll happen right there. If you don't flick fast enough, the ball will be faster than your car. So there's a few ways you can fix that. One is you could either flick faster, or two is don't hold the boost down when you jump. So if you have it on the front of your car and you don't hold boost, then you can catch back up to it and try to get to it. You know, my normal thing is if it's on the front of my car, I'm going to more than likely try to flick fast, because it'll normally result in more speed. So when I have it on the front of my car, which would not be a good example there, but when I have it on the front of my car right here, I'm gonna try to flick fast as I possibly can to try to get some power on the ball. And that's just your basic flick, you know, nothing too fancy about it. You know, you get it, you know, whatever, little turn flick. Alright, but the way that, or I guess the question I can answer is, people are always, you know, saying, well, I have it on top of my car and it seems good and I'm dribbling fine, but then when I flick, it shoots way up above my car. The problem with that probably is the fact that it's actually not settled on your car. You're probably turning and moving and it's bouncing, and you try to flick, look, it's too high, it's over my car. The ball isn't settled on my car when I'm trying to flick. So like if you're coming around here and you don't have it settled, see how I had it settled on my car, it wasn't bouncing around, therefore it allowed me to flick because the ball stays close to your car. But if you're trying to flick like this, you're not going to get a powerful flick every time, because if the ball's not settled in your car, it's going to bounce high and it's going to be extremely hard to get to. So most of the time, in order to save that, you got a backwards flick. And sometimes a backwards flick doesn't even help you. So, you know, that's one of the most common, or probably the most common mistake I see in people when they try to flick, is that ball's not settled and they're trying to flick. They're in such a rush because they're scared a defender is going to be there. So they try to hurt and rush their flick instead of just waiting for it to settle and then flick fast. And there's a good flick right there. As soon as the ball settled on my car there, I flicked, and I flicked very, very quickly. And this works for any kind of flick, whether it's a fast flick or whether you want to, like, if the ball's settled, you can, I just did a dumb flick there, but if the ball's settled on your car, you can pretty much do any flick you want. Look, bang, just like that. Okay, the next kind of tutorial thing I wanted to go over with is, you can see on my controller cam, I don't have arrow left or arrow right binded. I strictly use just one arrow button, and I think it helps me with flicks a lot, because when I'm coming through here and I rotate, if you notice back, you can play that back right there in a little bit of slow-mo. You can see when I go to a flick, I can dip my nose, and then before I flick, after I dip my nose, I can bring the nose back up before I flick. And this helps so much when I flick. It's not always just about turn quick flick. Cause see, right there, I turn quick and flick, but that little bit of oomph, that little bit of bringing my nose back before I do my flick, it helps a lot, guys, and I mean a lot. Like, look at that, the same flick, but I brought my nose up a little bit, and it shot it so much faster. So it's just something. I mean, the people that have air roll as like key binded, you can do the same thing. I promise you, you can do the same thing. It's just a little bit harder in my opinion. I'm not familiar with air roll left and air roll right, so I'm sorry. But for those who have them binded and also have just an air roll button binded, I think this can still help you. I think this might change your decision on what you're using when you do your flicks. Because I promise you guys, it really does help, especially when you're coming from a certain side. If you're coming from a certain side and you can get your car turned the way you want it to and get that nose up, you can get so much power on your flick. Look how much power. Just from dip, it pop, and then you just flick. It helps a lot, guys. I promise you. You know, so I guess the probably the final tip, other than you guys, you know, the things that I've mentioned already. I think that the next step would be, the next step would probably be, don't rush your flick. Don't. Take your time when you're flicking. Like, if you see a defender challenging, don't immediately try to pop it. I mean, you can, and sometimes you'll pop it over them. But if you're really trying to work on your flicks and you really want to be good, just take your time. You don't have to rush on your flicks. It doesn't matter where you're at on the field. And a big tip that I can give some people, a lot of people actually, who have the problem of the ball gets in the corner, okay, I'm gonna pop it and try to flick, and they try to dribble, and then the defender's challenging and they hit it over your head. Another tip I think that would help a lot of people is don't focus so much about that first flick. Focus about your follow-up touch after you flick. So try to get a quick flick off just to get it moving, and then focus on your follow-up. So if you get it here and you want to flick, hurry up and flick it. Now you're worried about this, the defender challenge, and you can jump up and hit it really fast before they can get to it. And a lot of the times, if you have it back here and you do get a successful flick on your first one, you know, you get it over the defender, a lot of times the last defender will back up, and then you'll have time and space to do another flick. Like, you'll have time. You will have time. See right there? Okay, perfect example. I'm glad that just happened. Perfect example. I did not have the ball settled on my car and I tried to flick. Watch. The ball's bouncing. I didn't let it settle and I didn't let it get on the front of my car. Therefore, it caused a bad flick and it messed up. And guys, you're gonna mess up. Even sometimes you might have the perfect setup and you might have the perfect ball, and sometimes you still might mess it up. But it's not about that. It's about grinding. It's about working on them. See right there? Oh, I guess one more tip I should give you guys is when you turn, the ball's gonna bounce. When you're turning, the ball is gonna bounce. So if you're going right here and you're trying to cut it towards mid and you want to hurry and flick, try to catch the ball. Try to catch the ball when you turn as it's coming back down on your car. As it's coming back down on your car. So like if you see it bounce up and then you see it coming back down, as soon as it touches your car again, that's when you want to flick. Let's watch. Let's watch right here. The ball is going to come down off my car, but it's going to bounce right before. I did it a little too late. Watch. It's coming down. Look, it bounced. So I tried to flick it and I missed my flick. Perfect example. Prime example. That's why I didn't want to do any edits. I didn't want to just show you guys me doing flicks. I can do flicks all day long. I promise you. If you want to see flicks, go watch my montages, please. But this is just trying to get people an understanding of why they may be messing up their flicks. You have to pay attention to the ball when you're flicking. Especially, you know, if the ball does pop high. Just because the ball pops high like that last flick I just did, it doesn't mean you can't get the flick. It just means you have to pay attention to it. See right there, the ball sat on top of my car the whole time. I got a nice little turn on it, and it worked. Turning here, the ball settled, I can flick. I noticed that I was going fast, so I knew I had to flick extremely quick. Here, the ball's going at a decent velocity, flick quick. Quick turn, flick. Gets them every time, guys. You don't have to be able to freaking flick like that. You don't have to be able to do that. The most basic flicks work, I promise. Like, for most competitors. The most basic flicks will work. My flick is literally as basic as it gets. You can ask anybody. You can go watch any of my previous YouTube videos. My flicks aren't that in depth, and they're not that complicated. That's why I wanted to make this video to hopefully help you guys. There you go, guys. Simple flick. I'll let the ball settle on my car, accelerate, and as you can see right there, guys, if you want to go back and watch, I let off the boost. I let off the boost before I jumped, and the reason that you want to do that again is because when you let off the boost, when you jump, you use your boost after you jump to stay with the ball. The ball already has momentum, so practice it, guys. I promise you, and then you'll start understanding it more as you do it. You'll start getting muscle memory for it, and before no time, you will literally ball any person that comes at you. That's a promise. That is a absolute promise, guys. And then once you get good at flicking and you're playing a team that knows you're good at flicking, like say you've done got them a few times, that's when the fakes become, because you can do like this and then just come right back down, and it will destroy people. Let me tell you guys, it will. So just practice it, learn it, live it, love it. If you have any questions or want me to, tutorial on any other thing, ceiling shots or dribbling or anything like that, if you guys have any other questions, please leave a comment down below. I'll be sure to respond. I'll be sure to make whatever video you guys want to see. Air dribbles, double touches. I'll do my best to help you guys get to that next step, because that's what I want to be here for, guys. I want to be here to help you and see you guys prevail. So that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys so much, and peace.